Brother Stone here. I just wanted to show you kind of what we're talking about with 9.4. Thought maybe this would help to explain it a little bit. Some of it you may already understand, so forgive me if I go over stuff that you already know. But just to kind of start from the beginning and explain, we start off with this assembly file, and it has an origin, right? It has a kind of, we'd call it a global origin, and it has an X, a Y, and a Z. And then our frame piece, this brown rectangle with rounded corners, we'll just imagine that that represents the frame. It has an XYZ origin as well. And then as we assemble other components onto that frame, we develop, the frame piece itself has a center of mass that's probably right at the center of it. If it's a rectangle, it's just right here in the middle. But as we add these other assembly components on, it moves that center of mass off in some direction to account for those other components that are added onto it. And with something like the Arbor press that moves, when we move the arm up or down or position it differently, then that changes the location of the center of mass. So what we want to measure is at a given position, a given assembly state, then when we move it to where we want, we should be able to measure from the assembly origin to wherever the center of mass of the assembly is. In this case, we're concerned about that distance along the x-axis. We don't care right now about the y or the z-axis, just along this x-axis is what we want to know. And so what makes it really easy to measure that is if we were to place the frame, when we place that first component, if we place that on top of the assembly origin, so that the frame origin and the assembly origin are the same thing, then we can just measure directly from the assembly origin to the assembly center of mass, and that way we know along the x-axis, of course, and that makes it easy to measure that. We could also do it if it wasn't on, if the frame origin wasn't on the assembly origin, but this just is, that's just a way to make it easier. So that's what we want to measure, is from the assembly origin along the x-axis to where the origin or the center of mass point of the assembly is.